Hi, I am Hans Wilhelm. And in this video, in the Life Explained series, I will talk a little bit about the law of rejection. A woman was once visited by a friend, and she complained bitterly to her friend how dirty her neighbor was. She has a dirty house, the children are dirty. Look at her washing on the line, she says. They are full of black streaks. So her friend goes to the window, looks out, and she says, "My friend, I think the clothes are quite clean. The streaks are on your window." This, in a nutshell, is the law of rejection. Now let's have a look how it actually works. This law of rejection is a mental law of the mind. It says that whatever we project on the screen of our mind, we perceive in the world around us. Imagine we have one of these old-fashioned movie projectors in our head. There are the two reels, and this is the movie projector. And the screen for that movie is firstly our mind. And the movie that is always running in our head is called my beliefs, my characteristics, my hang-ups, and my programs. And the screen for this movie is not just our mind, but it is also the world around us. Someone said that the world we perceive is nothing but an outpicturing of our beliefs. In other words, whatever we see inwardly determines what we see on the outside. If I perceive, for instance, a lot of hate in me, I see a lot of hate in the outside world. And if I see a lot of love in me, I see a lot of love also around me. Whatever is in me determines what I see in the world around me. In his book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle calls the world within us the primary reality, and the world outside of us the secondary reality. The primary reality determines how we experience the secondary reality. The world around us reflects to us who we are, what we judge, what we fear, and most of all our beliefs, our programs and characteristics. The external world also mirrors how we feel about ourselves and what we believe about ourselves. Wherever we look, we only see ourselves. Look at this wonderful toy. It perfectly demonstrates how we see the world. We are that little person in the center of our world, and wherever this little person looks, he only sees himself in all the mirrors around him. That is exactly how the world around us reflects nothing but ourselves back to us. Who we are, what we judge, what we fear, our character traits, and all our beliefs. We normally say seeing is believing, but in actuality it's the other way around. Believing is seeing, because our belief determines what we see. Interesting, isn't it? And as we believe, so we experience the creation of the physical reality around us, always, no exception. Every belief is an absolute self-fulfilling system of our own personal reality. And if we want to see anything change in the world, we have to change first. We have to either change the movie, or we have to clean the projector. Sometimes there's some dirty on the movie. We have to clean the lens of the lens. And then this becomes clean again. Before we try to stop the wars in the world, we have to stop the wars within ourselves first. So whatever bugs us is in us. This includes all the people, situations, or anything else that pushes our buttons. They mirror to us beliefs, behavior patterns, attitudes, character traits that we either overtly express or secretly repress. That's why this law is also called the it takes one to know one, or you spot it, you got it law. What we spot in the other person is in us. We also know it as the kettle calling the pot black. And others call it the triggering law because it triggers something off in us. We are what we see in others. If we are angry, we see, of course, angry people in us. people or situations that give us emotional charges are reflecting a charge we have against ourselves. It can go so far that a person who is physically hurting us is also reflecting a hurt that we have inflicted inwardly onto ourselves. Whatever people outwardly do unto us, we have been doing inwardly to ourselves. In other words, people are expressing what we are repressing. If we inwardly attack, push, resist ourselves, we feel outwardly attacked, pushed, and or resisted by others. Whatever bugs us in others is in us, always. Ever since I learned about this spiritual law some 40 years ago, I've been searching for exceptions, and so have my students, but so far we have not found a single exception to this law. If you are still doubtful, here is a simple test. Pick your least favorite politician or president, and then write down 3 of his most despicable characteristics. I'm just making this here up. One is flip-flop, one is he lies, he manipulates. Well, you have to write really your own personal characteristics there which you hate in that person. Now write behind each of these characteristics 3 incidences where you have been doing the same thing or desperately wanted to do the same thing in your life at one time or another. When you are honest with yourself, you will find these instances very quickly. Write them down in a few words. Now, once you have completed this list, go over these 3 instances and that you have listed and think of how they have actually served you and gave you what you wanted. The last part of this exercise is helpful for us to realize that even the so-called negative character traits all have a positive side to it as well, the yin-yang. Because everything is balanced in our universe. Everything has 2 sides to it. And only once we see the whole picture can we start loving that what has haunted us for so long. But the great thing about this law of rejection is the fact that it also reflects back to us all the good characteristics that we admire so much in others. Here's a little halo. All the talents, the skills, the manners that we may have even envied others. They are actually also in us, otherwise we could not have recognized them in the other. Remember, you spot it, you got it. We have the same talents, the same skills, but we may not have been aware of them or expressed them. But they are there, waiting for us to use them and to own them. So the law of rejection is an amazing gift that helps us to recognize ourselves and shows us what we still have to love and clear up, so that we become once again that magnificent, glorious being that we all are in truth.